Come on in. Come on in, guys. Come on in. Happy Wednesday. We gotta talk. We gotta talk. Guys, this is getting worse and worse. Worser and worser. It's getting worse and worser, guys. It's getting worse and worser. It's getting worse. You know it's got to be getting worse if I'm on here at 2:30. Okay? Middle of the day. So I just got off a conference call. I'll wait for some more people to load in. I just got off a conference call discussing the poll that we have up, guys. The petition to change our lineage to what it should actually be. Okay? And when I created the poll, I knew about the thing that happened at Essence, but that wasn't even the motivation behind it. It is so much other stuff that we've been going through as a culture, arguing about so many issues as a culture to protect what's ours, what we created, what our ancestors created, what we've invented, what our ancestors invented. It is so hard coming online every day and then seeing another post about someone's opinion of your culture. And the Essence thing has taken a turn for the worst. Someone who has worked closely with Essence is starting to, after this backlash that's been going on social media about the African takeover of Essence, and then them paying social media influencers, the few that they did invite that were Negro. I think it's about one or two that have actually spoken out and said, no, the festival was okay. It wasn't about Africa. The festival wasn't about Africa. They did invite some social media influencers that were Black American. See, I got an invite and it was great. And da-da-da-da-da, right? Okay. Now that they're paid to say that, we're going to read their website because they thought it was a figment of our imagination. They didn't really know that America was full of researchers. And just to show, someone from the actual Essence Festival, that's a Negro that got pushed to the side, spoke out, and then TikTokers started speaking out. And now we are here at a totally different juncture, ran by the Nigerian government. What? We're about to read it today. Also, we got a little pushback as people load in. Hey, come on in, guys. Come on in. Click like when you come in. Comment in the chat so I can know who's in here. We have gotten a little... Well, something strange is going on for sure with this poll. Y'all know I started the poll, right? And then on TikTok last night, I basically started like tagging the link to the poll in people's, chat, because it's a lot of Discord on TikTok about our culture and protecting our culture and the stuff that happened at the Essence Fest and blah, 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 blah. So I started posting the link, and some people was like, yo, this is well overdue, da, 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 da. Then I got some pushback. And it came from a page that was, I don't know, they're probably in here. They're probably in here. They're probably in here. Wait, hold on. Hold on, y'all. One moment. One moment here. Let's see. I don't know. The pushback. See, this is why I don't like a lot of hotep pages in my chat. This is why. Then I'm getting bombarded in my comment section about, are you FBA? You're not qualified to put up a petition. Are you FBA? Shut the fuck up. What I look like? What? It'd be the most Indian posts, the most Indian, these hotepery names that be former Moors that's now new Indians. And I don't know who this is. They could be in the chat for all I know. Clearly, they follow me. Because when I went to their page, it says follow back, but they got all these Indian feathers. And it's not just them. That's just the latest one that I've seen. Their justification is we need to keep African American on our name because our accomplishments made under those alias 100 years from now, immigrant Africans will say they've always been African Americans. Here's the thing. They're saying it now. Not only are they saying it now, they're benefiting off it now. What we did not know, continue to click like in here, guys, and please share it. What we did not know was that they were leveraging our buying power in order to broker deals with governments, not just Nigeria. The rabbit hole goes deep. The rabbit hole goes deep. So click like. We're going to go start going through this. It should be a lot of people in here. I don't know, guys. Should we keep with the petition? We got people who are so-called Indians on their profile saying, no, we can't lose being African Americans. Although that's not on our birth certificate. Keep in mind, African American is not on our birth certificate. This is used for the census. The census is how communities get funding. The census is how communities get funding. So if we're not being funded, I mean, we're being totally looked over. Africans are literally being funded using our inventions, our culture, as if it's them, just like the movie Them or Us or whatever it was called, where you had a whole different person look just like you, tethered you, but start doing weird stuff. This is exactly what's going on, and I'm about to show you. Let's see. Sure. Well, before I do that, let me make sure. Let me make sure I play this.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the president of Essence Communications, Clarence O. Smith.
Before Hack Reactor, I was delivering appliances and driving.
No. I gotta run that back, Mr. Clarence. R.I.P. to Mr. Clarence. Can y'all hear it?
Good evening. Thank you for joining us on this 11th anniversary of the Essence Awards. Tonight, in saluting these 6 extraordinary artists, healers, and teachers, Essence also honors the history of Black musical invention from Goree Island to Lincoln Center and the music palaces of the world. Ours is a rich musical heritage. Our spirituals and blues, jazz and soul are the jewels in our cultural crown. Our composers, musicians, and singers have ascended to the ranks of royalty. Duke Ellington and Count Basie, Lady Day and Queen Latifah, and a Fresh Prince. The freedom, optimism, and improvisational genius of our music have made it a universal language. For us, it is a source of pride and a wonderful cause for celebration. Enjoy the show. Thank you.
Unfortunately, R.I.P. to Mr. Smith. It's unfortunate that the Essence Corporation have lost sight of their foundation. It's unfortunate. You know, it's very unfortunate that the founders who laid the groundwork for Essence are now seeing their culture literally being shifted away. So we're on Essence website. Up under Essence Ventures, you have to go into this tab, whatever. And here we are. Precise data targeting at its finest. Essence Ventures leverages trustworthy first-party data capitalization on our extensive experiential business, print, and newsletter subscriptions, e-commerce, and digital audiences to deliver precise and accurate targeting to the multicultural audience in the advertising ecosystem. Please click like. Please share the live. This was not on my bingo card to take this and shoulder it. It was not on my bingo card. Okay. This is Essence. This is the page basically that they send investors to so investors can see their reach and pump money into their corporation. Okay, number 1 destination for African American audiences. Okay, largest first party experiential data. Access to 1.4 trillion in African American buying power. Okay, this is how Essence Festival not Essence Festival, Essence Ventures. That encompasses the entire enterprise. This is how they get funded. And then from here, we see Essence Ventures and NCAC forge global cultural partnership at Lagos stakeholder launch. Let me know if y'all can see this. Please click like in here, okay? The Federal Ministry of Arts, Culture, and Creative Economy alongside NCAC and Essence Ventures co-hosted a luncheon setting the stage for global collaboration of Black culture. It's global collaboration of Black cultures and no actual Black Americans in attendance. Okay, none. This was in Lagos. Leading up to planning the Essence Festival September 2024. On Sunday, September 15th, the Federal Ministry of Arts, Culture, and Creative Economy, alongside the National Council for Arts and Culture, NCAC, and Essence Ventures, owner of Essence Festival and Essence Magazine, the premier media, commerce, tech, and experiential company for Black people, co hosted a Sunday lunch with industry stakeholders. Obi Asaka, representing the minister and the NCAC. I already clicked on Obi Asaka. I hope you guys can see this. Obi Asaka. Obi Asaka, born October 3rd, 1968, is the Director General, National Council for Arts and Culture. He was appointed on February 12th, January 2024, by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Bola Tinubu. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Adukuni Tinubu, born March 29th, 1952, is a Nigerian politician serving as the 16th and current president of Nigeria since 2023. Okay, so now we know. Let's keep reading. Obi Asika represented the minister and the NCAC, while Essence Venture was represented by Barku Tubman. I know you fucking lying. Okay. Now you can see where the grift comes in at. Oh, Harriet Tubman is my ancestor, so I'm not saying she said this, but you know how Africans, every time they use that Tubman surname, which wasn't even a real surname, by the way. Let's start there. But every time they use that surname, well, I guess it was a real surname, but it wasn't Harriet's actual last name. But anyway, the spy for the Union Army. Anyway, every time they use that last name, they get to grift into America. Although they weren't born here, wasn't raised here, they're 25 generations removed from America. If their people even if they even descended from the people, the very few people who went over to Liberia, which was a British colony. They tried to get Black Americans, Negroes, colors, American Indians to go into to colonize. And we was like, no thanks. Barku Tubman, global lead on talent and diaspora engagement. Yes, continue to click like in here. Continue to share this video. Text the link, share it on Twitter, please. I'm not currently on Twitter, and my pages are shadow banned. This launch signifies the kickoff of a partnership between NCAC and Essence Ventures to build a framework with Essence as global knowledge and cultural partners for origins. A core NCAC initiative and for Destination 2030. And that's where the controversy comes in at. Origins Destination 2030 is where the it's crazy. This is something that's government funded, but let me keep reading. Nigeria Everywhere, the global platform of the ministry, and by ministry they mean Nigerian government, the actual government. The Essence Festival of Culture, not specifying Black American culture, they have just changed it to the Essence Festival of Culture. Okay? Held annually in New Orleans, is the largest festival in America by per day attendance, attracting over 500,000 attendees daily over the 3-day event. The launch signals and recognizes Essence global intent and expansion, aiming to build a solid foundation for its global Black community. Looked like the solid foundation was already built. But let's proceed. And bridge the gap with Nigeria as a focal country. bridge the gap with Nigeria as a focal country. When did Mr. Smith say that there was a gap? When did the Essence founders say that there was a gap? It wasn't a gap. Essence was our culture. Americans, our culture. They never said anything about a gap. What gap are you guys referring to? And bridge the gap with Nigeria as a focal country due to its rich talents, history, traditions, entrepreneurship, heritage, and significant percentage of the Black diaspora. Gee golly gosh. So Essence, let's keep reading. The event featured Black leaders from MultiChoice and Africa Magic, Paramount, Trace, Pop Central, Meta, NBA Africa, TBWA, MEFA, Playhouse Communications, Urban Vision, the Managing Director of Nigeria Investment Promotions Commission, the Director of General of the National Theater, the founder of AFRIFF, the West African representative for Chanel, the former of Yinwa Gallery, Simi Sola, who voiced for Iwuju, top directors, advertisers, event producers, fashion designers, and more. It was a great afternoon in Lagos with NCAC and Essence co-hosting. All the people from Essence were African, and all these people are also African. What gap is to be bridged if you're using a company that was built by Negro Americans? Because they wasn't calling themselves African at all. At all. Period. That group of Negroes hated when people call themselves African, because they know the countries in Africa that are now posturing themselves to be the leader in culture weren't even created when they were born. Nigeria was created after Mr. Smith, the creator of Essence, was born after. So why would he then call himself Africa? Why would you then take his company to Nigeria? The launch was hosted at a Nigerian female-owned business, the Beautiful Slice Social House. Now, the people on TikTok was reading an additional group of words.
Guest stars.
They have since deleted those words, but I found some of them that matches that article. Since now that it's going viral, Essence want to play, oh, it was never there. Oh yeah, it was there when they was discussing core 2030 and how the Essence Festival will be moved to Nigeria. But I did find this part. Africa's multicultural influence soared in 2024. NCAC and Essence Venture kicked off a partnership to establish a framework positioning Essence as the global knowledge and culture partner for Origins, NCAC Flagship Institute, and Destination 2030. Nigeria Everywhere, the ministry's global platform, the groundbreaking 4.5 billion Kubalania project, spearheaded by Linus Adahosa and backed by the Lagos state government, will further solidify Lagos as a global creative hub, drawing innovation across Africa's film, media, and tech sectors. Africa's creative industries are reshaping the world, proving that the continent is a source of inspiration and power, and a powerful engine of economic and cultural growth. It's not just me. Like this is this is disrespectful. Like this was not on it was not on my bingo card to create a petition. It was not on my bingo card to do. I look, I me knowing as much history as I know, me seeing these people literally just start doing things that we've been doing for 150 years for sure. Me going back to even the Met Gala that finally recognized Black American fashion for the first time, and then seeing all the Nigerians, all the people from the Congo, everybody from the continent say, oh, you would not have this if it wasn't for Africans. Y'all copying Africans and da-da-da-da-da. We're like, what? Dandyism came from Nigeria. There was no Nigerian designers. Why was there no Nigerian designers? Why was there da-da-da-da-da? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. See, the whole diaspora war, it's been a one-sided war because we didn't know that the actual Nigerian government was putting money and battery packs in these people because they're on some kind of cultural, whatever they're on, whatever they're doing. They take a piece of everybody's culture, make it theirs, and then say, it is I, the leader. They take a piece of everybody's culture and do that. And not only that, literally everything we do, everything Black Americans get recognized for, they grift their way into it because the whole time, guys, they have been trying to build up their cultural portfolio in order to add a price tag to it so that they can broker deals with global governments. They literally took their culture to the UN to broker money for the Nigerian government. They said, look how much our culture is worth. And they're using this figure that has nothing to do with them. But they're using the African part of the figure. They're using the African part of the figure. They get to use the African and African American in order to broker deals. So now the 1.4 trillion in African American buying power includes Nigerians. That's wild. That's wild. I'm sorry. I don't know whether no one who is Negro American colored, formerly African American, should sit back and let this fly, especially when you now see that their government is involved in bottling up your culture, taking it to Africa, and then brokering deals. Now, the crazy part about what happened with the Essence Festival that was on the website last night that they were able to read, that's not on there today because they're playing cleanup, is with them moving Essence to Nigeria in 2030, they have a 5-year stretch. See, this Essence Festival was a soft launch. The Jollof, jambalaya, that wasn't even the whole part of it. They rolled out money to Nigerian businesses, Nigerian restaurants that was inside that festival. The people moving the chairs were Nigerian companies. The people who were setting up the stage was not these. They really got the bag. So their plan is to use the power of Black Americans, our dollars, because you're not getting 500,000 Nigerians nowhere. There's not even 500,000 of them over here. Let's start there. So you have a very small percentage of Nigerians that will be able to pack out an Essence Festival. In fact, they won't be able to ever pack out an Essence Festival by themselves over here in America. So when you decide you're going to move in the next 5 years, collect all the money that you're going to get, move it to Nigeria, and put the global hub for Black culture in Nigeria. And then you will be able to say, it is I, the leader in music, the leader in arts, the leader in fashion. Look at this event we built. And you don't have to wait for 100 years like the person told me who was against the petition. You don't have to wait 100 years. They're doing it in 5. They're doing it now. They're going to perfect it in 5. The meeting was last year, not one Negro in sight. Did any of y'all get the invite to Nigeria to be a part of the new cultural board to build a gap, to bridge the gap? Was any of you guys invited? My ancestors was inventors. I've invented stuff. Ask Mercedes. We was not able to leverage our inventions with the UN. We was not able to leverage our inventions with the American government. The American government takes care of these people. Good care. Great care. And it's so funny, guys. It's so strange that they have created the same business portfolio that all businesses create, right? But you're lying about the numbers. The reason why you're lying about the numbers is because you have an African name. And by the way, fuck Shea Moisture too. Fuck them. Never using that shit again ever. You have used your African name and your African staff on this American company. Not even sure how they let him buy that company. Clearly used Nigerian government dollars to buy it. Somebody need to investigate that. How are they able to let you buy this American company that's steeped in American culture, American innovation, and then broker deals based on a $1.4 trillion Black American spending power? So we're supposed to spend the money, guys, at the Essence festivals. We're supposed to now spend the money at the Essence Festival. Then they're going to take our money that we spend at the Essence Festival and move it to Africa to build their government, to build their communities, not building a housing project building an apartment complex, any affordable housing in the Negro neighborhood, not building any of that in the Negro, not doing anything for the Negroes. Nothing, guys, nothing. You get nothing. But we want your dollars. And people was like, well, it's fine because they didn't have that many Nigerian and African performers even at the Essence Festival. So I don't know why you guys are tripping. That's not how money works. Why? If they have this 5-year plan to move it to Nigeria, why would they have Nigerian performers on the big stage? No, they need to rake in American dollars. They know if they put a Nigerian performer on that stage, the Negroes are not coming. They know Black American dollars will not be there if that was a lineup of Nigerian artists here in America on a stage. We're not coming to see Burna Boy. Let's so we can stop that argument as if we're supposed to be okay because they don't have Nigerian artists. That's not how it works. They're planning on getting as much money as they can get in order to move this huge Black American, Negro colored created cultural event for us, by us, very much FUBU. They're going to use the ushers. They're going to use all the big name artists to keep coming to Essence Festival, at least for the next 5 years, to generate as much capital as they let's keep it 100. They're already funneling money to the Nigerian government. Because what are they doing here in America? What are they doing in the very Black community that you say is the number one destination? What are you doing for this community? Okay, what are you doing for this community? Fashion home community, this dance, this music, this, what are you doing for this community? You're not doing anything. Now, while we're at it, let's see how other ways that Nigeria funnels money from America. See, America does not do this for us. It's as if we're really Black, guys. It's as if we really have faded into darkness as it relates to assistance. The 10 Negroes who get food stamps account for all of us over here, all the millions of us over here. If they find 5 Negroes who get food stamps, that's what's highlighted. Although we are not even the largest percentage of people who get food, but beyond food, USA pumped $2.8 billion, just sat there and handed the money over to Nigeria in a 2-year time span from 2022 to 2024. From 2022 to 2024. 2.8 billion. And guys, before they took that USAID website down, I was on that website. I literally looked up the amount of money that Nigerian doctors receive. Crazy. They received 780 million last year. This is just for the doctors. This is not for everybody, guys. This is just for the doctors, right? They have another fund, 45 million for African scientists. But those of us who are scientists here in America, we don't get like a penny or dollar, buffalo head nickel. I mean, they got the $5 Indians on the quarter. Can we at least get one of those? Y'all remember the black American girl who found the cure for cancer using lasers? She didn't get no money. She was asking us for cash apps. Then they turned around and took her technology. And it's being used now right up under her nose. But you know damn well they're not developing a HIV vaccine because it's already developed. Bill Gates developed one. So why would you even award 45 million to African scientists? And guys, this is just one of many. This was just last year. This was literally just last year. They're getting money pumped into that continent from all over. They're not creating no HIV vaccine. They're not creating no polio vaccine. They're not creating none of that shit. You're not finna tell me those people over there got AIDS and they're online arguing with us every day about our culture and what we didn't create. Is you the niggas that's supposed to have AIDS? Is this the same country that malaria is just running rampant? And you guys managed to be online with us all day talking back and forth about what we didn't create, about the culture that we don't have. And people may say, well, why are y'all so passionate about the culture? It's because when you look at the state of the Black community and you look at the fact that everybody's saying we get so many handouts. And then it's like, no, we don't, bitch. I work 3 jobs. What do you mean handout? I work 3 jobs. I worked my career in 2 side jobs. I had to pay for my degree because the scholarship, what I thought was a full scholarship, didn't even pay for the whole thing. They was adding all kind of stuff. But then y'all came over here and got free degrees. Y'all came over here and got to go to our HBCUs for free. We said nothing. We didn't protest. We didn't complain. We were just like, hey, friend, whatever. Kept it really cute and copacetic with everybody. And now the same people are online arguing with us as if our ancestors didn't build those schools that you got to come to for free while we get to leave with debt. Then when you come over here, you get food stamps. Then when you work on your doctorate, you get to do that for free. Then after you graduate, our government pays you a salary. They don't do that for American doctors. We do not get afforded that. And it's because, woe is me. See, I don't know why certain blacks get the woe is me. You know, look at the poor orphans in Africa. They need our help. The flies on the belly, they need our help. But then when it comes to Black Americans, we don't get woe is me. We get pull yourself up by your bootstraps. We get pull yourself up by your bootstraps. And then we sit here and create more trends, create more culture, just create. And everybody's still, y'all, I went on, I logged on to TikTok the other day. And this is something that might be very minor, but I just got to show it because I was just like, you know, this is it's getting kind of strange at this point. It's getting kind of strange. This is just so minor, but now I'm paying attention to every little thing. I was on my TikTok the other day. Oh shit. Where did that go? Is that it? Yeah. Why TikTok put in spill the tea on our... Maybe why they put in spill the tea for people so that they can come so that we can put a story up? What spill the tea came from? Like it's really it's these little intricate things. Like they don't take big chunks of our culture, right? They take it piece by piece, literally just dissect it. Everything we create that's cool over here, they literally take it and dissect it. Spill the tea definitely came from Black Americans, but it's definitely on everybody's profile on TikTok right now as something that the TikTok developers added into. When you talk about culture, for some reason, Nigeria want to be the leaders of global culture, to rake in the big dollars. America currently rakes in, as I put in the petition, America rakes in a lot of money off of culture, and we don't see any of the benefits from it. Okay? America's culture and arts sector, it's a $1.2 trillion. Okay? $1.2 trillion sector. We don't see any money from that. We do not see affordable housing from that. We do not see attorneys who are willing to do pro bono cases for us to help us get our heirs' property back. We don't see that. We see attorneys charging us $10,000 just to do research to find whether what we're saying is true about land, our family's land. We see these large amounts of money being poured outside of the American African Americans, who you guys say we're all alike. But they get the money and we get your ass to kiss. We get everybody's ass to kiss. You may as well not even come on TikTok, come on social media and put nothing out, no ideas out, because all they're doing all day is ciphering the ideas, adding it piece by piece into their culture. And you just wait 6 months because they know you're going to take your mind off of it by 6 months, or they're going to create so many arguments online surrounding you and have you going back and forth all day saying what you aren't, what you don't know, what you didn't accomplish. And then they're going to swipe it right on up. That's the play that has been ran this entire time. Unbeknownst to us, because we haven't been paying attention. We didn't know these people had a literal culture section where they're making the big bucks from. Who knew that? Who knew that? Who knew that? I didn't even know the Smithsonian allowed people to sit on their boards. This guy, this African guy that's with Essence, he sits on Smithsonian's board for their history board. He gets to say which artifacts goes where. They got their hands in everything over here. Not born over here. Parents weren't born over here. Grandparents weren't born over here. But some reason, somehow, behind our backs, they have tried and are trying to position themselves as the leader in music. Not one reputable music genre amongst the entire continent that is copyable. Nobody is copying any of their music genres. It's not cool anywhere. We don't listen to it on the radio. I don't matter how much they tried to push that stuff to us. We just wasn't. And not because we had it all against Africans. It's just we didn't like it. We just didn't like how it sounded. We prefer our music, you know. And when we get tired of our music, when we get tired of listening to whatever music y'all think is ratchet and ghetto, when we get tired of listening to trap music, we got a plethora of other genres to listen to. We can go back to neo soul. Our neo soul will still rock today. You can go back to some old soul sounds, neo soul songs, and they sound just like they belong on the radio today. We can go back to the old R&B boy groups, the old R&B girl groups, and listen to that music. It ain't nothing but the K-pop of today. They're using K-pop artists on Apple, putting them all at the top of the charts, all at the top of the charts on Spotify, all of these white when you click on R&B, it's all these K-pop artists mimicking Belle Biv DeVoe, literally mimicking Salt and Pepper. Now they can't mimic Silk, but if they could, they'd try. We got one K-pop group out there mimicking Boys to Men. The reason they can't mimic Silk is because Silk sing notes too high and too low for them. But Boys to Men were right in the middle. They're not going as, you know, the guy who was the bass, but mimicking them nonetheless. There's not one thing that Koreans have created that's copyable for Negro Americans. Nothing. And now we have Koreans taking our culture and making money off of it. White people been doing it. White people been doing it since the 1800s, and they got far doing it because they was over here on the land. When they took rock and roll, you know, when they took country music, they got far doing it. You know, they whitewashed our whole ancestral line and nearly wiped them out of existence. If it wasn't for inquisitive people like me and many others that kept digging in the crates, digging for this history, digging for the origins of these genres, that stuff would have never been released, would have been lost to history, would have been lost in time. White people made a lot of money off of our culture, but it was the white people that were here. The people who started exporting it made even more money off of it because we can't follow those numbers. We can't follow what happens on the concert sector in Korea. You can't even follow with the copyright courts, or the international courts are supposed to be following it for copyright infringement and all this kind of stuff. They're supposed to be paying royalties when a snippet of one song sounds like a snippet of another song. They're supposed to be paying royalties for all of that creative development, all of that creative intellectual property, but they don't. Now here comes the Nigerian government. And see, I knew it was some reason we saw this very strategic, inflated rollout of Nigerian designers. And then my timeline, the American designers that was on my timeline that was making gowns and prom dresses, it's just like they just disappeared. I had an American guy that was here in Kennesaw. He was making handbags, leather handbags. Just disappeared. All these people just disappeared, guys. And then you had an influx of Nigerian designers making gowns. And it's like, wow, guys, somebody definitely got to be pumping money into you for you to have a factory. You born in a village and have a factory. And then when you look at the fact that it's the government, their government involved in this, they can take the money directly from USAID. And instead of building actual infrastructure, because they don't have infrastructure now. A lot of them don't have running water. A lot of them don't have running sewage. As it relates to agriculture, they don't have it. Don't have it. But culture is what they want to focus on, because it's easier to focus on culture when you got a group of people across the water called Negroes, Africans, group of people across the water called African Americans, guys, that you can grift off of and make double your money. So to hell with the roads, because see, America is not just giving Nigeria money for doctors and scientists. They give them money for infrastructure as well. They just don't use it for infrastructure. They use it to fund little designers and then fund their social media accounts. And they go from 2 followers to 1 million followers. And now we're seeing them on our timeline just by default of them having so many followers, whether it's bots or not, it's still going to get pushed to the front. Now you paying money for like a discovery to see what inventions are out, to see what style is out. So you all can take it right quick. Let your designers design it, because you're going to push it in the front, buying all kind of marketing to push them out in the front. You're using the money for infrastructure because they don't have the money. Guys, the people, the kids over there, they don't have the money. The adults over there, they don't have that much money to create no factory. They don't have enough money to get on an American stage. The government is paying for them, and somehow the bleeding is coming from America. That means that somebody in the American government that's African, that's getting this stuff pushed through, that we likely voted in because they said that they were going to do something for the Negroes over here in America. That's the only way I could see this even happening. Now, beyond the money that they get for infrastructure, please continue to click like in here, guys. Like I said, this wasn't on my bingo card to do either, so I know it's not on yours, but it needs to be done. It needs to be done, because how are they making money and we're not, off of our own culture? I have to sit here and sue for one of my inventions. The Africans ain't never invented nothing even close to what I invented. And then I have to sue for the rest of my money. And then they just get that shit on the platter. using our inventions and our culture to leverage them. If that ain't a tether, I don't know what is. So while this wasn't on our bingo cards, you probably have came online and said something catchy. You probably have came online and said something that you've invented, or you probably put out a cool song, or you probably put some clothes on that looked really cute, a dress on, and they saw the silhouette of the dress, and then you just didn't know that someone was looking at our every move, everything we do, everything we say, to take it piece by piece by piece, rebrand it, repackage it, and take credit for it. And there is no way we're going to keep letting this happen. It's the same thing that happened with country music. They tried to do it with rap not long ago. There was actually USAID funding for new rap artists. I pointed that out right before they closed the website down. They gave us like a few days after they told us the USAID website had all these things on it. And then after we start researching it, they closed the website down. I haven't put it back up yet. But there was actually funding, and you probably could, it may still be up on Google somewhere. Funding USAID. I know I showed it on here before. Funding for rappers. Let's see. Yeah. They had funding for rappers. And it wasn't until, see, we knew about the USAID website, but we didn't know about it. And this, they were able to get this money out before they closed the site down. They was giving money to rappers, Palestinian rappers, Chinese rappers, African rappers. Like I said, I was on the website. Our community did not benefit for any. Our artists were not on this website. I didn't see not one Negro artist on this website. We got to get it out in the mud, guys. USA has partnered with organizations to support the creative industries in various countries, such as African Creative Blueprint Initiative in Nigeria. So not only did you get your Nigerian doctors funded, you also got your musical artists funded. You also got your scientists funded. And all that shit was using our tax dollars. Because we still have to pay taxes over here every day. You go buy something from the store, taxes. You go, everything you buy, taxes. Giving money to Palestinian rappers. We've never even listened to a Palestinian rap. Who wants to listen to it? And really, the guy Mike Benz, he had put it out way before it happened. But people was just, people weren't really listening to Mike Benz. He's a white guy. But he did. He was one of the first people, the first person to put it out, because I think he worked for the government or the CIA or something. A former, but there's no such thing as former. But he was putting a lot of this information out. No black artists, though. Cuban. Everybody was getting money. I saw it with my own eyes. I don't know what this is. Congressman Mike Lawler. Dispersing over $3 million in payment to Tomorrow's Youth, an organization headed by a vicious anti-Israel rapper who advocates for Jew hatred in his music. Interesting. That's how much did y'all get from USA? How much did y'all get? Did anybody in here get anything from USA? Kids, if y'all got stuff from USA, then I don't have to go on these tangents. If y'all think it's okay for us to continue to call ourselves African and get absolutely ignored, absolutely laughed at, absolutely we're being vultured. They're vulturing us, but we just keep working because, we don't really care because we create all the time. That's not fair. No way. You were supposed to put here in this life to invent something or create something and get zero credit for it. I just don't think that's right. It's given, when I say this wasn't on my bingo card, it really wasn't, because I got a lot of stuff to do. But it's giving me the same vibes that COVID gave me. And because they kind of use the same talking points that white people use. Africans, they do. Africans use the same talking points that white people use. I think it's funny. And on the inside of me, think it's strange that they're using a 2030 narrative. A 2030 timeline to move our culture, our biggest event that highlights all of our culture, the biggest festival, to Africa. It's the biggest indoor festival in America. And moving that to Africa with all of our history with it, with all of the money. And really, Black Americans, according to Pew Research, we're at 1.8 trillion in spending power. So it's really not even 1.5 anymore. It's 1.8 trillion. That's Black Americans. Other groups have their own spending power being calculated. Ours is at 1.8. That's why everybody panders to us. Everybody wants to make products based on Black Americans. They want to make sodas based on Black Americans. Whatever. Everybody look at our culture, our community, what we're doing, what we like, and then they base what they release off of that. So white people had a 2030 timeline before COVID hit about us. Bill Gates mentioned something about 2030. And then the financial system said by 2050, we will have no wealth, correct? Was it 2050 that we were supposed to have zero wealth? If the bulk of our value is coming from culture, let me see something. Were they using 2030 or 2050 as it relates to wealth? Was it 2050 or 2030? They're using 2050 because here's an article on The Guardian. Median wealth of Black American will fall to zero. Somebody's using 2053. They're doing the trajectory of our wealth while funneling money to all these other Black nations. While funneling money to all these other Black, I remember them saying 2030, 2050 something, that our wealth is supposed to fall to zero. And I'm like, how did they calculate that? We make money every day. What do they mean? You mean, are we going to be dead or something? Because I don't get it. Like, how could you calculate that when we're the biggest I don't get it. I don't get how they were making these calculations. But like I said, this was all happening before COVID hit. They were making all kind of calculations about our wealth. Look at this. Rice University, Black Enterprise, according to the Road to Zero Wealth Report. The median wealth of Black Americans will fall to zero by 2053. And I think they're updating this shit with 2053. I really think they said 2030 or 2050. This NBC News. Why some Black Americans might miss out on the 68 trillion transfer of generational wealth. I know why we would miss out, because you took our heirs' property and we couldn't get it back fast enough to make the real estate boom, to make the agriculture boom. We couldn't get it back fast enough for you to start divvying out money in agriculture, free money. We couldn't get the heirs' property back fast enough. That's why we missed it. Let me see what this says. Over the next 25 years, an estimate 68 trillion will be transferred from U.S. household to heir. Didn't I just say something about heirs property? I just literally just said that. I literally just said that. According to the analysis of high wealth, high net wealth, and high ultra net wealth markets by, look, 68 trillion will be transferred to U.S. household to heirs and charity. See, you're going to transfer our heirs' property to charity and say, yeah, they transferred it to charity. This is Beulah Mae Smith's estate that she transferred to charity. Instead of trying to find the heirs, we are on our own. Certain counties find heirs, but for the most part, they don't care. They don't care. This is NBC News. Guys, how did we miss this? Meanwhile, I'm on the damn internet screaming at the top of my lungs about heirs' property and people looking at me fucking crazy. Like what I'm saying isn't true. Like I'm not looking at the records. That's why our wealth will fall to zero. Because I get shadow banned for helping people find heirs' property. Time I say heirs' property, they shadow ban the video automatically. Shadow ban the channels. I can't even get a petition out. Over 100,000 followers between my platforms. Can't even get a petition out to reach 1,000 when I share it on my page because shadow banned. That's crazy. Without a plan in place, probate costs could be 3 to 5% of the value of an estate. Why are they talking about Black people, heirs property, probate costs, and the value of estates if we own nothing? But then you got Black historians that don't even share my shit. They don't even share my videos, let alone introducing their audience to the fact that we have these estates. Because they don't want to do the research, for one. For two, they don't want to share it because, oh, she may take my audience. How did we miss this? I would have used this as fuel a long time ago. There's also a lack of clarity around a loved one's wishes and potential discord that may cause among family members. Then there is property that may have been in the family for generations or more. So why am I shadow banned again? Did they shadow ban MSNBC for putting this out? This shit's crazy. Wow. Wowzers. So that's how they're calculating our wealth, based on land. And in the midst of them calculating our wealth based on land, this little Negro girl, colored, dark, black, burnt, darky, from South Georgia, is sitting here screaming at the top of my lungs, trying to get Black Americans to understand heirs property and go back after it. This is wild shit. So I'm essentially fucking up their plans to get us down to zero. Oh boy. I did not know that's how they was calculating. I could have guessed. Jeez. I could have guessed. So the land gone. Then all you have left is what you can create. So they planning on housing your creations, because they can't house your physical body in Africa. So they'll house your creations and your culture in Africa. Couldn't get y'all to get on those slave boats to go colonize Africa. Those documents are public record as well. Couldn't get y'all on no damn boats to save your life. They gonna take the culture, put that in Africa, and then the white folks gonna swipe up your land or not tell you about it so you won't remember, because some of them don't even fucking know. It'd be more of them on my videos than it'd be blacks. They the ones that be pushing the shadow ban button. No, you're not supposed to be telling them that. They all sat at a round table, probably at the Paris conference, the Paris Peace Conference, from the Holy Alliance that they made to come take the land in the first place. You know, guys, this is how all of us miss this. How did we all miss it? How did we all miss it? We've discussed this. Bill Gates innovating down to zero. You know, where he was trying to make the vaccine for COVID. Population, to decrease the population. And I assumed that's what they was talking about. But while I was making that assumption, I ain't forget about the land. I was just talking about history in its totality. You know, I said they wanted to kill you off the land. So I could have been right the whole time. I just didn't know that they had a sidebar conversation going on about land. I didn't know that. See, to me, when you let white folks discuss this subject matter, it's as if they've already took all the land and we don't have any claims to nothing. Is NBC not the biggest platform? When was that article put out? 2020? 20. Damn, this article. This article was put out 2022, February 2022. I was on MSNB. I was on the NBC talking about this in 2021. For sure. I sure did bring up land. I surely did. I surely did. So they was talking about this before 2022. MSNBC started talking about it in 2022. Okay. Now, I don't know. I could have been on there in 2020. What is 2020? 2020 or 2021. It was one of them. I know I was on there talking about land. Anyway, when white people talk about land, they discuss land as if Negroes don't have no land, guys. They discuss it as if it's a figment of our imagination that we were the Indians over here. Because, see, slaves could not own land. So, you niggas don't got land. You niggas got one house on a lot somewhere, and that's what your heir's property is. We know better. We know very well we know better. But that's the story that they keep feeding us every time you mention heir's property. It ain't as deep. Although I done pulled out so many files. So many land patents, so many heirs property, literally. So I done pulled out so much stuff. And they will still, because they have a bigger voice in mind, and that's why you have the shadow ban channels. They have a bigger voice than mine. And then they'll still sit there and say, slaves couldn't own land, and you the slaves. Well, you might have been the babies of slaves during the Civil War, but prior to the Civil War, you had family members who didn't have nothing to do with slavery, who had land, who got strong-armed off the land, and actually Hitler actually talked about that. Hitler wrote many books, and Hitler actually have reports that's in the German legislature talking about how he used the blueprint that the British used to colonize America, talking about American Indians and how he became infatuated with American Indian and American Indian culture because the American Indians looked just like the ancient Germans. The culture looked alike. And how he was so fascinated with how they tricked us off the land here in America. Hitler was discussing. I may pull out those files and read y'all another bedtime story tonight. Hitler was discussing it. Hitler was eating the cheese. He was killing niggas and eating the cheese at the same time. And then he used the model that they used to take our land here in America, and he used it to take East Europe, according to him, and the Germans who was with him. They used it to take the same model to take East Europe. Now, here's the thing with that. Niggas we don't own land. Right? I know how the ancient Germans looked. They was dark. They were darkies. They was brownies like me. What color am I, guys? What color am I? I'm brown. Just like the document I read last night to y'all in the bedtime story. That was the American government, though. But the quiet part is being said out loud on this channel and amongst whites now. They said we'll be done by 2053. We're going to miss out on what, $53 billion wealth transfer? 68 trillion. I'm sorry. That means we have 68 trillion in estates over here. That's sickening. That's sick. That is sickening. I have got shadow banned and targeted for no reason. No reason. No reason. I got deplatformed for no reason. Now everybody is telling the truth. 68 trillion in properties for the slaves, for the birthright citizens. And that's why we need to be called American. We don't need to be called nothing but American. When people think about America, they only need to think about us. That's it. That's all. Who are the Americans? Them. That's it. That's all. I had someone else on TikTok said they was going to sign the petition until they saw this part of the petition. I'm going to show y'all. This is strange. Mighty strange. Mighty strange. Mighty strange. Let me go to her post where she said that. I was gonna sign until I saw this part. And let me screenshot this. So y'all might not believe me. Wowzers. Wowzers. Gee, golly gosh. Said, ugh. I was ready to sign until I saw this part. The part she's referring to is, additionally, the category American Indian and Alaskan Native should be updated to read Native American. The description for this should include people with migrational origins in any of the original Alaskan or Asian tribes or citizens of federally recognized tribes. That explains them to the T. And I'm explaining them using documents. I'm not explaining them because that's what my brain said to do. Now, the migrational part, my brain told me to do that, but I only know that due to documents. Now, I could have been nasty and left them out altogether. I could have been nasty and renamed their category the $5 Indians. I could have been real nasty and renamed their category the Siberian Huskies or $5 footlong or all that other shit I used to call them on here when I forced them to go learn their history. Because that's what you got to do to a bad kid, beat them. She said, ugh, I was going to sign it, but sorry. You don't know what you're talking about. We was the slaves. The slaves that's finna miss out on $68 trillion in wealth transfers. Because the land's supposed to be transferred back to us if we don't already have it. And then the money that's supposed to, the subsidies that's supposed to come with the land. You don't have that either. And then the royalties that you're supposed to get from what they've been getting off the land. You no longer get that either. You know, they were talking about, I'm going to get off here because I I'm not finna woe is me. I don't feel like woe is me today. Because those of you who have been here, y'all already know this story. It's people that's on here talking about bullshit, and they get so many people in the chat talking about bullshit. I remember when I had created Unpacked, Uncut. That's how I got most of them followers on that other channel. Because I was talking about bullshit on Unpacked, Uncut show. It was all bullshit. I would barely talk about culture. You had to wrangle people in for those conversations, about our culture and our history. People just don't want to hear it. People just don't know how much money is involved. People just don't know that you really could be less stressed. People just do not understand. You probably aren't supposed to be working 3 jobs, 2 jobs. You probably wouldn't have to if you could just get the land back. But then they put these group of hoteps out to say, hey, we don't got no land, we slaves, we descendants of slaves, descendants of descendants, slave. Slaves can't own land, da 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 da. People in my chat today, just today, spamming my post asking me if I'm FDA, FBA, if I'm qualified. They commented up under my Black History, the video I did about Black History. Am I qualified? People never send no super chats, never support the channel, never nothing, but spamming my comments asking me whether I'm qualified. Because they never heard me call myself the nickname that they call themselves, although they're former Pan-Africanists. I never have been. The better question is your leader still working with the African Union? That's the question you need to be asking. I'm talking about heirs property. I'm talking about government records. I'm talking about our records that have been stolen, that we have to now pay for. That's what I'm discussing over here. So, anybody want to question that, you're likely to get blocked at this point. Especially after what I just read. I already knew this, but the fact that they're tiptoeing it out for the world to see, and while still shadow banning me, is wild. It's wild, guys. This is wild. I'm so offended. I just can't even let y'all know how offended I am. I'm like offended. Like, I've lost a lot of money doing this. I've lost a lot of time. Guess what would happen if I stopped doing? Guess what would happen if I stopped coming on here talking about land, though? That 2053 projection will come to pass. It will come to pass. It will come to pass. Just to show, if we don't wrangle this culture back in, just as surely as we don't wrangle our own inventions, our own culture back, just, call our energy back. We don't call our energy back, somebody else is calling it. They're writing up entire business plans. These people have rolled up entire business plans, have pitched to the actual UN. They're pitching their culture to the UN as a global leader in culture. I can't even name you any Nigerian culture. I can't name their culture. That lady said something about a Ashuki or some shit. All that shit is new. You can't show me no Ashukis from the 80s, the 70s, the 60s. That's new. I know you can't show me none from the 50s. But we're sitting here with corset dresses on. My grandparents was wearing this stuff in the 20s. I was showing people when they were trying to go back and forth with us during the whole dandyism, debacle. I asked them, okay, well, show me a prom dress that you guys were wearing in the 80s, because I was being generous. I knew I had already had photos in my phone with American proms from the 50s. You guys just started having proms 5 years ago and start putting on dresses then. We've been putting this shit on. I posted a picture of my grandmama decked out. Cat-shaped glasses on in the 30s. Dressed to the nine, pretty thing. Body T. Face perfect. Married. And y'all can't even show me y'all grandmama with nothing that looked fashionable on from that era, period. So how are we even arguing about who are the innovators of the of the darkies of the world? Who are the ones that are most innovative? How is this even an argument? How aren't people every time they see one of us paying homage in some sort of way? You niggas all be kissing our feet at this point. As much money as y'all have sat here, grifted off our culture, and then turned around and made a profit off of it. Then we still building schools over there in your countries. This shit ain't fair. I don't know who in the government I need to talk to about this matter. All that money they got from USA, they need to pay it back. I'm calling ICE on all these niggas. Fuck them. Everybody who got a position at Essence that is an African, I'm calling ICE. Y'all niggas better be over here the right way. I don't care. Better have your paperwork together. I'm calling ICE. I'm pointing this out. Got to. Why not? Y'all sit here plotting and can get deported? Because none of y'all were born over here. Let's make sure you guys are over here the right way. Let's make sure you guys are even qualified to run businesses. In fact, the FBI need to investigate where that boy got money from to even buy Essence in the first place. How wasn't this out in the public? You think a black celebrity wouldn't have bought Essence if they had a chance to? Y'all better make sure the people who owned Essence, make sure they died the right way. Make sure they wasn't killed. At this point, can't trust nothing. They had mercenaries over here. Trump started cleaning them out. Better make sure. I'm just saying. Somebody said FBA means my lineage, the people I have many commonalities with who didn't immigrate to America. We are coming together and now see who our enemies are. What does the trademark say? Because somebody was asking me why didn't I put FBA on there? You can't put FBA on a petition as it relates to race. That's just a nickname that can be used online. What does I never even looked up the trademark to know what it reads. But I know you can't trademark a lineage, but the lineage that y'all want me to put on, that some of y'all want me to put on the petition is trademark. Not only is it trademark, Amazon also uses FBA. I pointed that out years ago. We didn't need another nickname. We got plenty fucking nicknames. Plenty nicknames. We start delineating ourselves when we start talking about land. Pulling out these old ass records. Please click like and support the channel, guys. If you have not signed the petition, we do have a petition. Because guess what? Man, these people are plotting. These people are plotting. Plotting big time. I did add another decision maker. We do have money on here. They have not started promoting our petition yet. So I tell people not to donate on here because there's money back there that they haven't even started pushing our petition. So do not donate, just sign. Just sign the petition. I don't know. I don't have a number of signatures to get to. They told me to get to 100 signatures. But I don't know whether we get to however many signatures. This shit is still going. This is still going. The Office of Management and Budget is definitely going to them. We're definitely, if we have to go this route, definitely going this route. I don't care. Now, for everybody who don't want to be called American, I don't know what else you can be called. I don't know what else we could be called. One thing Africans can't do is grift off of us being called American. And that don't mean we're going to stop calling ourselves whatever nickname we call ourselves. Black American, whatever y'all call yourself online. That does not mean you're going to stop. This is for the record. This is so that they can stop clicking in our category as if we're all together. The reason why Europeans click in the same category is because they're literally all from Europe. They literally can trace their grandparents back to Europe. That's why they click in the same category. The Asians don't click in the white people category. They click in the same category. How the fuck are we clicking in the same African category and we're not together? There's nothing else for us to be called on the record. Our kids shouldn't be born and have African American on their birth certificate or on any of their official records. African should be nowhere on there. Because the closer you move to Africa, the more you move from heirs property that I've been on here yelling about having, that everybody tried to say the slaves didn't have land. And then MSNBC came out and said, Black Americans going to miss out on 68 trillion transfer of generational wealth. They going to miss out. 68 trillion to be transferred. Households to heirs and charity. From U.S. households to heirs and charity. This is about black people. This is not about white people. If this was about white people and they said 68 trillion will be missed by us, transferred from U.S. households to heirs and charity, then that would be different if this was about white people. This ain't about them. This is about Negroes. So this part shouldn't have never even ended up in the conversation period if we didn't have nothing. I wouldn't have been able to find so many records if we didn't have anything. If we didn't have nothing, I would not have been able to find so many records. So many records, guys. So many fucking records. Now what my hang up is sometimes is finding real names beyond nicknames that our ancestors was using. They're using a lot of nicknames, but you know that I noticed the family. I'm looking right at the files. So, those Africans are trying to take, everybody trying to take it. Everybody. I work with 3 Africans, a Ghanaian, a Congolese, and a Rwandan, and they all building big, beautiful homes in their native countries off American dollars. One of them get government assistance. Yeah. I believe it. Mine say Negro translation, American Indian. I'm 49 years old and I was 15 years old when the teacher said, okay, kids, we were instructed to call you guys African American. Really? See, when I was in school, we weren't African Americans and I'm younger than you. We wasn't called African Americans in school. I didn't hear that until college in 2002. Actually, in 2003. That's when I took Afro-American studies and they start telling us about Africa. And really, Afro didn't have nothing to do with Africa, but they just slipped it in the curriculum some kind of way because you actually had people who were very big in the Pan-African community who literally went to Congress to fight for African American studies to be put in HBCUs. And these are some of the same people that the FBAs and some of the other reformed Pan-Africans be bigging up online. I'm like, yeah, that nigga the one who fought to put this African American shit in the schools in the first place. I wouldn't have never known about being transferred from Africa if I wouldn't have heard that at the HBCU. I took that back to my grandmama, and y'all know the story of how that ended. Made me look like a damn fool. She made me look like a damn fool. Girl, from where? Boy, they laughed. That lady laughed me out so bad. She's sitting here with a family Bible that date back to the 1500s, and I'm sitting here telling her some shit about we just came from Africa. The fix has been in for a long time when you look at it. The fix has been in for a long time. You said that was around 1988. I was born in 84. I wasn't called African American in school either. That's what I'm saying. A lot of us wasn't called that. Like, it's not on my records. It's not on. I know people who was born in the 80s. It's not on our records. Although Jesse and them was fighting for it in the 80s. It's not on our records. I think Jesse Jackson changed us to African Americans in 1985, to be exact. So of course it wouldn't be on my birth records, but as it relates to school, I hadn't entered school yet. When I entered school, I didn't enter school as a Black American. I think we was Negroes. I think we was still Negroes. I think I still entered school as a Negro. We wasn't Black Americans either. We was Negroes still in the 80s. Now I entered school in the 90s. I probably started kindergarten in 91, 92. I was a Negro. And then in school, we did all the Indian shit. We had teepees out. It was all black school. We sat in Indian style. We tied up the flagpole. We collected the first May rain. All that at school. Like, we was Indian kids. We was little Indian kids at school in Albany, Georgia. That's all we learned. We learned about, and this is stuff that our family was doing. You know, so it's not like they were teaching us an alternative culture. No, they was teaching us what they naturally knew to do. It was all Black teachers, all Black kids. You know, we didn't know this had anything to do with Indians. We didn't know that. We just knew that this is what we do. They knew. You said public education brainwashes you. It does. Oh boy, we're being African washed. Yep, got whitewashed. Now we're being African washed. We're being black washed. It's really black washed because they use African to grift our culture and they use Black. Now, before they started using Black, we was able to detach from them by using Black because they weren't calling themselves Black. So we were able to avoid the African American slogan by using Black. And now that they're using Black, it's like we got nowhere else to go but to just call ourselves American. That was my thought process behind it with all the records that I've seen. You know, in fact, they should have changed us to American as the constitutions were passing. As we were written in the Constitution, we should have just been changed to American then. Not all this Negro colored and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, you had American Indians who weren't all the way out of the tribes yet. So that's probably why they didn't. Because it would have been confusing because you wouldn't know who were pledging allegiance to another nation or not. They were just trying to stop the pledge of allegiance to another nation on the land at the time. Now, dual citizenship, all kind of shit going on. So really, Negroes didn't have to give up their tribe. They were just doing some shit that, just another scheme to take the land, which is what they did. Scheme after scheme after scheme after scam after scam after scam. That's all that was. Anyway, thank you for supporting the channel. For whoever is supporting the channel. My mom's birth certificate says colored. I think mine do too. I think both of my parents say colored. I got my grandmother's, theirs say colored. Granddad's, theirs say colored. It gets murky when you get 2 generations behind my grandparents, and that's when all the Indian stuff get kind of kind of, on the mulattoes and the Indians and all of that type of stuff. I don't think I have many mulattoes though. I don't think I have any. May have one mulatto. I don't think I even have one mulatto. That might be. I don't know. I don't remember. But I know it gets kind of murky when you start looking through the Indian records, the tribal records. It gets kind of murky. But I prefer the actual heirs property records because you have more people on the heirs property records. You have a lot of people on those heirs property records. Sometimes you have 6 people on one record. So, you got 6 people on one record, boy, that makes your life much easier. I look at so many records though. But anyway, guys, just want to talk to y'all about that. I didn't know this was gonna turn left. I thought we was just talking about culture. I wasn't intending on talking about land today. But look like it's all together. Okay. This I sent you today. Okay, I'll check. I'll check when I get off here. I just emailed some people before I got on here. Well, this morning before I did the conference call, I emailed some people earlier today. I got more people's reports that I'm sending who have heirs property for people who I can't. If you African, please, if you're a hotel behind an Indian name, please don't even waste your money seeking me out. I can't. No, there's no way, because people tend to try to grift on the land situation. People, it got weird names, all these Indian names and stuff, and then the records are not there. No, you can't fake the funk when it comes to you don't know your grandma names. I see if you don't know your great grandmama name. If you don't know your grandmama or your granddaddy name on neither side of your family, this is nothing that I can make up. This is nothing that I can make up. Thank you for the super chat, Jane Wilson. I've been out here talking for 2 hours and you're the first person to support my channel. I appreciate that. I almost talked my voice off. Hopefully it was valuable, guys. I tell you what. 2053, boy. 2053. They said 2053. We're going to miss out on the wealth transfer. We're missing out on the largest wealth transfer. And we'll be broke down to zero by 2053. That means what that says to me is not only confirms that what I'm saying on here, we got land, you just got to go find it. But not only that, that means to me, you're possibly saying that you're going to find a way to transfer it to somebody else when it's supposed to go back to the heirs. Because I think you could do up to a 99-year lease, but heirs cannot sell land. All they can do is lease it. So that means you possibly did a 99-year lease, and that 99-year lease is up. And this possibly was a lot of them, and you possibly illegally did it, thinking that the heirs would be done died out by now. Kind of like the bedtime story I read y'all last night when they were saying how brown people were gonna die and da-da-da-da-da. We just kept multiplying. Thank you for the super chat. Not easily impressed. I appreciate it. Thank you, sis, for what you're doing. I have been glued to this channel for the past 3 days. Thank you. I appreciate it. Real talk, none of my ancestors were slaves, and I'm not a descendant of a slave. I'm a proud 100% American Indian woman. I tell people all the time, slavery is just more sensational than prisoner of war. You definitely was a POW, But if you keep calling yourself a POW, then the DOD and the Department of State that's here sending all the money to Africa, they might have to pay us a check out, because how the fuck was I a prisoner of war? How was my ancestors prisoners of war here in America? Prisoners of war mean you held us captive. So that, don't you supposed to be paying it out? See, the DOD should be protecting us with everything they have. They see our culture being taken. They see other countries, literally other countries, are sitting here trying to swipe Black American culture. We're their biggest asset over here. The landowners, the culture creators. There's no way. It should be a military force to protect us, just like the Freedmen's Bureau tried to put in place. It should be a military just to protect us. Anything we ask for. If we need to go this place and be protected, we should have somebody that we can call. Say, hey, I don't feel safe. I got to fly to this event cross seas, but I don't feel too safe. Can one of the representatives go with me? No. They know which family own what. Thank you for the super chat, Rodney. Rodney says, greetings, sis. You're doing it again. Will you do consultations soon? I need one ASAP. I want to organize my findings and get direction. Got you. I don't know. Right now, I'm just kind of focused on the records. I do allow people to call me, but just calling the consultation, I don't think I will start back doing that, because it got kind of weird, man. It's like people start to try to whoa. Whoa. Ashley just sent me a big face hunted. Thank you so much. Thank you, sister. I appreciate it. I appreciate it so much. Thank you. That just shocked me. Usually people send that to my Cash App, but you just sit here. Well, I appreciate that. A big face hummer for my pain and suffering. I appreciate that, Ashley. Thank y'all for the super chats. Rodney, what I was saying was it got weird. It got very weird when I was doing consultations, People can track your location, and I wasn't aware of all this kind of stuff. I wasn't aware of all this kind of stuff. I just thought I was doing a good deed. Sometimes people are just, I think I remember having conversations with you, very good conversations, if you're who I think you are. I think I remember having very good conversations with you, but some people, when I got on the phone with them, they just got weird, and you can kind of tell like it was stuff going on in the background, like they were sitting there at the Department of Defense asking me specific questions and tracking my location on satellites. And, oh, she's here. Like, it was just weird. Just got weird. Shouldn't the DOD be added to the petition? I probably should. Let's do that now. Let's do that now while we sitting here on the phone. Let's see, can we do that now? Where do we... Let's see. Let's see, can we do this? Where is it? DOD edit. Let's see. Let's see, are they on here? It's how I be looking. Let me see, because they weren't on here for some reason. Oh, they on here. Who else I need to add, y'all? Anybody else I need to add? Any other government people I need to add? I can only imagine how my lineage is stressing you out. I have some people. I have some people. I think nobody stressed me out worse than the person who had gave me all nicknames. And they were American. This was no Africans giving me all nicknames. These was good old Americans. But it's sometimes it's those situations where you run in a certain business or whatever. You know, they knew their grandparents, but they didn't know their great grandparents was all nicknames. Thank you so much for the super chat. Side quest, Arcaris, that's pretty. Thank you so much for the super chat. Yeah, the 1800s, some states were not the states. Yeah, they are today. That's what I was discussing on last night. Well, I've been discussing that for a while now, trying to break down birthright citizenships and how people can be at that time a slave in one state and not another country, because America was split up until the Civil War. Civil War, that's when they called it. We own everything. We got 50 states now. You just had 13 10 years ago. So how did you get all these states in one whop? Anyway, let me see. I don't think that's true. I think that was fake too. I laid it on hold. No damn allodial titles. If you did, I mean, every few years, there's somebody who come from that African Union sector saying what they hold. If she holds allodial titles, that's for her family. It ain't even for her to come online and tell what she holds. You don't have what you say you have. You just a grift to make people think you got something that you don't have. Somebody said, I know this person that owns all of Louisiana territory. That includes all the territory in the middle of America. That was No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. Mm-mm. Don't follow it. I'm telling you. Look at your own, and I actually did yours. I just need to update. Well, you got your initial report back, Deborah, but I actually did some more work on yours that I got to update you on. Your situation is totally different from the other people's situations, baby. Your situation is totally different. Some of these people are online talk about what they got are lying. They don't have the files. Your family got the files. They don't have the files. I'm telling you. You should start putting your Cash App back up. YouTube doesn't deserve a single dime. Here's my Cash App. I don't know why I thought everybody just knew my Cash App was Unpacked, because the channel is Unpacked. I don't know why I thought everybody just knew that. But yeah, people don't really have what they say they have. Miss Deborah. A lot of these people on here with a lot of trickery. Let's see. What is the Cash App? I just put it up. Here it is, Mr. Ali. It's Unpacked. Queen, did you get my folk yet? I think I did. Ready to learn. Hold on. I thought I emailed you. 1 second. Hold my mule. Let's see. Who did I do last? Because I started emailing people this morning, and then the last family that I started adding to was the Shannon family. That's what I'm working on now. Ollie. That's the next email that I'm sending out. Whoever that is. I don't have the person's. Unless that's your family. I don't think that's your family though. I think you're. I know the next email that I'm composing is this probably is not your family. It's interesting to note that the Pan Africans reside in the U.S. and they don't want to migrate to the African nation. That's the part for me too. You know, who funded you guys to do this? Gratitude to all who signed the petition. Thank you. Yes. I ain't gonna lie, I took a meeting, with somebody I knew who was very good at marketing and conference call, but I'm just trying to figure out how to do this because the pushback is coming from inside the house. So it's just like, okay, like, how is this even gonna, like, people don't understand the bigger picture. They don't understand how the 68 trillion is going. That bigger picture, it has to be marketed. It's just no other way. These people have not started marketing us on change.org. So we got to take matters into our own hands. So I'm just trying to see how just getting ideas on how we'll be able to get this done. Anyway, why don't a group of Black Americans simply buy out these Black American funded products to maintain our unique heritage and ideas? The thing is, we don't get the opportunity to buy them because these acquisitions don't go out publicly. If somebody would have put the Essenec Festival acquisition out and given us an opportunity to buy it, I would have cashed out my Bitcoin and bought it. But back before my Bitcoin was stolen. I actually don't even know when they got purchased, so I don't even know. But I'm sure a lot of celebrities would have purchased it, and people who had the money. We could have put a conglomerate together and purchased it. I don't remember it ever being up for sale where you could bid on it. I don't remember a bidding happening, so I don't think it happened. I got you coming in hot, Kelia. Damn shame that my family don't want nothing to do with the data. So this warrior is going to have to send them this link from NBC. Send them this link from NBC. Where is it? Send them this good old NBC link so they'll know what the fuck going on. Just send them the link. Here's a link to genealogy. I'm just putting all kind of links in the chat. The last one is the genealogy link. It's the same link. The genealogy and the land search is the same link. Who is that needed? Genealogy. Jane, when you do the order, just put in the order box genealogy. You'll see a box that come up when you check out. Just put genealogy in the box and it'll come to my phone. Let me see. Got it, Janice. Okay. Strike while the irons are hot with Essence. Right now is the perfect time to reach some of our people. So yes, put the information out there. Yeah, that's what I was on the conference call doing. And I started, like I said, just dropping the link in people conversations on TikTok last night. Cause I know me posting it on my channel, sometimes TikTok lets me not be shadow banned, but the only platform that I've ever crossed over 1 million views on is TikTok. Everybody else got me shadow banned to absolute hell. And the subject matter that we're discussing is definitely one that should be hundreds of thousands of views, if not 1 million, because everybody's so interested in our culture. Everybody is so interested in where we're from. And like, I have ironed this stuff out in so many different ways, so many different ways. I currently have genealogy clients. I did cut it off. But if these are special cases of people who've been in my chat the whole time. So if you need something ready to learn, of course I got you. Jane been in my chat for a long time too, so I got y'all. Just get on the roster. But for new people, I'm not doing genealogy for people. So they at least got to have, when you search land, you need to at least know your grandparents, and you need to at least have a rumor of what you heard in your family, so that I could start the search somewhere. It's hard to you can't start a search with a blank slate. You just can't. You can't start not a land search. You can't start a land search with a blank slate unless you're a criminal and you know how to create documents and create IDs. And I'm just not the person. It's a lot of people out here that can do that. I am just not the person. I need some data in order to conduct the search. The more data you give me, the better. Especially if you say, yeah, the land was in Walton County. The rumor that we was in Walton County. Perfect. Then I can just tailor my search to this area. Some people heard the rumor, but they don't know where the shit at. And that's the case for most people. They heard the rumor, they just don't know where it's at. They don't know which state, so I got to go through a lot of data sets to kind of iron and be meticulous with it and make sure it's the right set of families. Because mind you, at the same time, a lot of us had the same names, so a lot of us was passing down names. I think we're probably out of that now, but you might have a generation of 5 John Henrys and just not even know why there's 5. There's 5 because they was passing the name down to keep the land intact. We just started naming our children Daquan and shit. We should have named that fucker John Henry. We should name that bitch John. You're John Henry, boy. Jaquavius John Henry. Use your granddaddy name, Homer. Ain't finna be no Keontae's and all that. They were smart guys. Our ancestors did not get enough credit for being as smart as they were. That was a very smart move to have a continuous name in the family. As it relates to land and inheritance, that is the best way to be able to find your ancestors. They passed the same name down. That was just very smart. So yeah. There's a link to the petition. Link to the petition. Here it is. It is right here. You say what now? Hold on. I ain't got my screen up, but I saw you just said something. I ain't got my screen up. Give me a second. Gary, y'all done had me put the Department of Defense in. DOD, we need you. We need them for real, for real. We do need them for real. We need some protection around this place. There's a link to the petition. Yeah, we start getting real creative, baby. Now we got the Jalen's. Boy, your shit really should have been James. You know that, right? James Harrington. You should have been James Harrington the 9th. Goddamn. At this point, you should have been James Harrington the 9th. Cause baby, we done messed up. The first sons and daughters got the grandparents' names. Yep, I see that a lot. Oh yeah, I heard Stephanie Mills had a problem with the Essence Festival. What you're not gonna do is mess with Stephanie Mills. I actually sung with Stephanie Mills. When I was in college, I got to sing with Stephanie Mills. And that lady can really sing. I'm talking about this tall. And this tall. Voice crazy. She don't miss. She don't crack. She is perfect. That lady is perfect. I saw him with Ray Charles too before he died. Me and Ray Charles from the same hometown, so that's pretty sentimental to me too. But yeah, I will send this to Stephanie Mills. I did hear she had a problem with the Essence Festival. Sure did. How the hell y'all hostage for 2 hours in the middle of the day? Isn't that crazy? But I kind of want to reach y'all a bedtime story tonight. We might do, and it probably won't be as late as I was on late last night. A lot of y'all missed that live. I was on a late night creep last night. We was on here about 10 o'clock, reading brown man versus white man, reading their files, brown man versus white man, digging in the crates. I might dig in the crates again tonight and go over this file, some of these files about Hitler and what Hitler, how he used the American blueprint in order to steal land. We might go through that tonight. He was talking about the cybers and everything. It's interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, very interesting. Anyway, I love you guys. Thank you for joining today. I hope you got something out of this. We have an urgent matter here. We have very urgent matters here. Please send this to someone. I think it's quite easier to just text the link to someone. Even if you don't explain the link, just text it to them. Let them click on it. Somebody you, cousin, sibling, parents. Send them the link and let them click on it. They're going to watch the video. Trust me. Typically, when people are introduced to me, they don't really leave or dislike it unless they kind of don't like profanity. Sometimes when I get riled up, I use profanity, but the president used profanity. Everybody do when you're passionate about something, Anyway, you said you're playing catch up with my lives. I'm gonna keep them on because I usually edit these lives down to 5 minutes after I get off. But here lately, I have started keeping the lives on because I do realize sometimes when I go live, a lot of my followers watch the replay. I have way more people watching the replay than when I'm actually live because YouTube doesn't send out that I'm live. So more people catch the replay when I just pop on the screen like, oh, Janice went live? How did I miss it? I don't know. And if you're watching the replay, comment down in the chat. Let me know how you feel about these situations. Are we putting 10 on 2 by creating a petition to call ourselves just American? We don't want to have a color in front. We don't need anything in front. We need to be Americans. We need to be the face of America because we're the oldest group here. We're the only group that have fought in all of the wars. We've been fighting since the Indian Wars. So we're the only group that has fought in every single war. Because of this live, they have had me tag the DOD into this petition, the Department of Defense. But the more I think about it, we do need help. We do need some protection because the DOD should have some kind of social media infrastructure by now that could stop the African infrastructure from attacking us for everything and then calling it a diaspora war as if we're the ones that's coming at them first. It's never that way. It is never that way. It's always them coming at us first. And they got bot pages. They got real pages. They push their social media influencers to the front who have the biggest platform. So they say stupid stuff. And then we're defending. We're always defending. We're on the defense as if we're Department of Defense. If social media is how so much stuff is happening, then that means you need a social media. You already got one. You just don't use it for us. Let's be clear. You already got one. We just not using it for us. You don't have bigger fish to fry. We're the biggest fish over here to fry. Somebody needs to start protecting us. Somebody needs to get these platforms, these pages shut down, just like they're getting our pages shut down. When these people come talking sideways at us, your greatest commodity, you should have the ability to get these pages shut down. You should. Now y'all got us out here calling ICE. We have resorted to calling ICE. Because I'm not finna argue with you. I am not finna argue with you in Mbuktu. I'm not arguing no more. ICE. Make sure they over here the correct way. Anyway, I love y'all. Can you send this to Trump? Probably need to. I think they had a meeting with the Africans today at the White House. And that's the crazy part. We're sitting here creating all the cultures, all the inventions. We don't get to sit at none of these power tables. The people who be sitting at these power tables are the most tap dancing, cooned out. We don't have any of our real issues addressed. You know, the Democrats don't even want us to be bipartisan. We have issues that go on when the Democrats are in office and when the Republicans get in office. We got the same issues because we just realized you niggas like immigrants more than you like us. It's giving Holy Empire. It's giving all of you guys are together to me. It's giving, can the real niggas please stand up? At this point, I take a white man who's been over here for a long time. At this point, somebody tired. I'm fucking about to go reach out to Mike Benz in a minute. Let me see. It's getting weird, guys. It's getting weird. Jessica Dyers, welcome to the channel, girl. We get kind of out there sometimes. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the family. I remember when you first to put the ICE number out. Thank you. Y'all, how long ago I put ICE number out? That had to be 3 years ago. That had to be 3 years. Somebody went to bother me and I said, I'm put ICE on your ass. And that's exactly what I did. That is exactly what I did. How long ago was that? Hold on my mule. That was a minute ago. I don't. It probably because we're on the backup channel, guys. I don't even think it's on this channel. I don't even think that would even be on this. Wait, because I just got to see whether it's on here or not. I don't think it is. Yes, it is. I just got to set the private. It got 4,989 views on it. I set it to private because why did I set it to private? I don't know why I set it to private, but it was some reason I had set it to private. Wait. Somebody pissed me off real bad. Will they let me play it from here?
So ICE allows you to make anonymous phone calls. So here's the number to make anonymous phone calls. 1-866 DHS 2ICE. So ICE
I've been on these people's ass for a long time. I've been on their butt for a long time, guys. Woo-wee. Whew, jeez. I just tickled myself pink just then. Somebody said, yeah, how I've been trying to get off here for 20 minutes now. No one showed up to the African Essence show. Lauryn Hill was singing to an empty crowd. And these people jilted the American vendors who told everyone, don't waste your time going. That's the real story. Wow. See, they tried to say, oh, Lauryn Hill, she came out at like 4 a.m. Like, why would she do that? And they said the crowd was empty because Lauryn Hill came out at 4 a.m. I'm like, what artist is going to do that? Now, she might have came out at 1. But Americans will stick around to see a Lauryn Hill at 1 o'clock. She definitely didn't come out at no 4. She probably came out at midnight. Anyway, you know how people be really, really lying. She said, yes, I got ice on speed dial. I'm telling you. I ain't really calling ice on the Mexicans. It's these goddamn tethers. If you try to tether to me, you try to tether to our culture, our lineage, our heritage, you want to go argue back and forth online. It was them Native Americans and those Africans that colluded together. They partnered up against us, telling us you need to take your DNA test out. Y'all remember all that? We ain't finna go for that. ICE. That was 2022. I put ICE number out, guys. Hilarious. Hey, new here. What's the backup channel now? We're on the backup channel. Love Crumb. Welcome. Our other channel got taken down. We had like 100-something million views on that channel. It was taken down. Yeah, so we're on the backup channel. But welcome. We do a lot of history topics over here. We mix in current events with history and unpack it all in one nice, beautiful bowl. And we talk a lot about heirs property. We find a lot of people's families, their family land, because we know a lot of things that we go through here in America boils down to land. So that's what we've been doing consistently. So when you see, oh, this family got this amount of land back, although we tell people not to market it and broadcast it, a lot of those people came from this channel that got land back. I keep telling y'all, stop messing with Nigeria. They are always on the FBA drugs and scammer. We don't mess with them. We be minding our business, guys. We mind our business. Essence did that to us. All of that I just read y'all off of the Essence website. Nobody told them to write that. They told themselves to use Black American numbers so that they can make money on ventures outside of Essence. You can't do that. If the crowd that you're going for is African and your market is African and you want to move Essence to Africa in 2030, then you need to use African buying power in order to do that. Because if you tell potential vendors, potential sponsors, not vendors, vendors too. If you tell potential sponsors that, hey, my crowd generates over 500,000 people per day, and then you tell them they have a spending power of $1.5 trillion, but you're in Africa, but you're taking this festival to Africa, then that's not true. Because Coca-Cola is not going to make that money back when this goes to Africa. Because Africans don't have a 1 trillion spending power. They don't. Shit, that's probably the spending power of the whole continent. We Americans have more spending power than some of the countries, the majority of the countries in Africa. That's how deep it is. That's why they're doing this. They're tethering on to us. And the Nigerians probably aren't the only ones doing it. They're just the first to get pointed out for doing it. You use our spending power because you're darky like us. And we're over here calling ourselves African. You use that lingo. You make a nice, pretty business plan with it. You make a nice, pretty investor's deck with it. And now you're on CNBC talking about your numbers. They aren't your numbers, Umbuktu. Only Umbaka. Those are not your numbers. You have to use whatever. If you're taking the Essence Festival to Accra Akua or wherever, Nigeria, you have to use the spending power of that demographic of people. That's how you get vendors to that area to sponsor that event. They're not going to sponsor it if these people's spending power is $100,000. Coca-Cola are not going to put their resources in the Essence Festival in Nigeria if the spending power is $100,000 because they got to spend more. They're not going to make that back even in marketing. Even in marketing Coca-Cola all over that arena, wherever you're going to take it, they're not going to make that back. They're not. They're not going to make it back. So that's how the game goes. You know, if you're trying to get investors, you have to send them a pitch deck. In that pitch deck, your numbers is going to be in there. Don't use our numbers for your pitch deck is all I'm saying, bitch. Use your numbers. Because we don't even use our own numbers for pitch decks. We're not doing that. Now that everybody else doing it, we need to start a conglomerate for our culture. We do. Because currently our government has one for our culture. We don't have one for our own culture. I got you, Jane. I got you. We don't have one for our own culture. So this is probably going to come out of this. It's probably going to come out of this. This is the beginning of that. This is the beginning of us taking our power back. And really, we have the biggest artists right now. We have the biggest artists right now going all over the world with this American flag, calling herself Beyonce. She putting on cowboy hat. She taking the culture. She really, y'all don't understand. Beyonce's writer is my client. The girl who wrote almost every nice, good, perfect song on the album. You know, this ain't Texas. 16 carriages. That's my client. She's my client. And, you know, and she got a new song out. You know, they have taken our culture all the way back. Like we're back. We're so back. When I say we're back, you had people who was like, oh, why is Beyonce wearing the American flag? And why is she wearing cowboy hats? And why she's talking about the Buffalo Soldiers? We have people who are Buffalo Soldiers in our family. That's why we wear the American flag. We're American. We're birthright citizens. We're the oldest American. However you want to slice the cake. When they was making the flags, we was here. You know, when they was writing the Star Spangled Banner, is you know, we was here. The national anthem is written off our songs. Then we wrote our own national anthem. That's even better. That talked about Trail of Tears in our national anthem. Everybody look over that. So when they say, well, this is us. This is who we are. Nobody can't tether off of it. Beyonce is not wearing a red, black, and green flag. This girl got on an American flag almost every outfit. She not wearing no RBG flag. She had the real Juneteenth flag at her show. The red, white, and blue one. The Africans done come over here and made Juneteenth an African event. That's what they do. So now that we have the biggest person on stage, she's not calling herself nothing on stage but American. We don't call ourselves nothing but American in real time. They might as well put it on the documents. That's what the petition is about. We got to stop this bleeding somewhere. We have to stop it. Because they're going to keep making their investors, their pitch decks to corporations on our behalf and keep taking the money to Africa. The money from the Essence Festival is already being funneled to the African government because the African government is behind it, just like I already pointed out. It's unfortunate that we got played like this. But we cannot take our eyes off of none of these balls. We just can't. So now we take this petition and it snowballs into other things. Like we find a way to put our culture in one box. I put our culture in books. All of it, all the culture. the history, the culture. I put it in book. I started putting it in books in 2003 because I saw 2003, Lord, 2023 because I saw how people wasn't giving credit. So I wanted to make sure they gave credit and that it's archived. But you have to take it a step further. You have to do it online too. You have to do it everywhere. You have to do it everywhere. Anyway, guys, I've been trying to get off here. I love y'all. I may come back on here. Somebody said Janice is Nigerian. What the fuck Nigeria? What look Nigerian has? Let us know in the chat. Since you know so goddamn much. See, they tried to pull that shit when I first got on YouTube so that people wouldn't hear what I was saying about land patents. And look, 5 years later. Yeah, right. Land patents is real. The niggas still got land patents. The niggas gonna miss out on $68 trillion because of the heir's property. We can't even pronounce your name in from the fuck. You picked the right day, baby. You picked the right day. Tell us, how do Nigerians look? I look the same without makeup. I got on face powder, blush, and eyeliner. I don't even have full face of makeup on. Every Nigerian that you see that look even remotely like me have a full face of makeup on. Trust me. And when they have a baby, they look totally different. Let's just be clear. My beauty is generational. My mom's beautiful. My grandmother's beautiful. My great-grandmothers are beautiful as well. I've seen pictures. Baby. My face is still pretty without makeup, so I don't know where you're getting this from. Stop being in your fantasy. Stop being in your fantasy. You don't see no skin bleach over here. Good sir, whose name we can't pronounce and who do not have a profile picture. Do I look like I was raised in the village? Do I look like I eat jollof and fufu? Do I look like it? Do I look like I get money from US Aid? You missed the show when I was talking about my grandma when I showed my grandma? You missed it? You know how many times I've talked about my family on the channel? Did you miss that fufu? Don't let them flies around your belly get you fucked up, okay? Nah. Comment in my chat again. Let me know so I can block you. Anyway, guys, I may be on here later on tonight reading you guys' bedtime story. I know I don't look like no goddamn Nigerian. They just be coming on here saying shit like that because, they don't like when people take their power back. They don't like when people take their culture back. I can tell an African when I see an African. We know Africans when we see Africans. It ain't no makeup. It ain't no wardrobe that you can have on. I know you're an African when I see you. You know an African by the eyes. You know a male African by the hairline usually. Some of the men can blend in with the furniture pretty good when they shave their head off, when they shave all their hair off. But for the most part, they can't even blend in. We know how Africans look. Stop fucking playing with me. Yeah, do I look like I grew up in a household eating with my goddamn hands sitting crisscross applesauce on the dirt floor? Baby, ain't nothing. I was raised with both my parents, honey. My daddy had owned 2 houses before I was even born. I don't fucking... I have never This boy said I look like I was raised between two concrete slabs with goddamn iguanas crawling all in the living room floor. This nigga said I was raised like I had to bathe outside, had to go fetch a pail of water. But he said I had to go fetch a pail of water to take a bath. Oh, Lord have mercy. But he said I look like I was raised in a village. Dirty feet. Orange clay dirt between my toes. Damn. That's crazy. That's wild. That is wild. Exactly. We waking up and it scares them so bad. Oh, Lord. I don't know whether I should be insulted or what. But he said it looked like I still use cake soap. I don't know. I've been on for a long time, baby. You can get an African photo from 3-4 years ago, baby. They don't even look the same. You can get a photo of me. You can go on my Facebook page and get a photo from me from 9 years ago, and I look the exact same. Never glowed down. I didn't have to glow up. I never glowed down. The women in my family do not glow down. They always dress up. They always look nice. They always put their best faces forward. I learned that from my mom. My mom didn't teach me these things in no dirt village. I grew up eating with forks and knives. No. We had the biggest house in the ghetto, if you must know. It's given more so the Cosbys than a village. Let's please be clear. Please be clear. Don't come on my channel saying no bullshit. Thank you for the super chat, Chris E. Thank you for the super chat, Chris. Oh, shoot. Okay, I got you. I see what just happened. Thank you for the super chat, Rashid. I appreciate that. Oh, Lord. No, because that's the second person that done tried me today. Somebody else was spamming my comment section talking about I'm not FBA. Like, what does that even mean? I don't know what you're talking about, sir. You mean I'm not Pan-African? I don't know. I don't know what these people are. These people are, it's beyond me. It's beyond me. Right, they wish they looked like us. Child, they got to try a whole lot harder. Baby, you got to be able to look like someone that makeup get off your face. Okay? I don't get Botox and none of that stuff. These girls are getting Botox, all kind of stuff. I don't believe in that. You either got beauty or you don't. Because guess what? Your children are going to come out looking like the original version of you. They're not going to come out looking like the nipped and tucked. You know, BBLs are cheaper in Africa than they is over here due to regulations. So everybody is going to the villages, getting the goddamn BBLs and all this shit. They got Koreans over there getting them the cake soap. They're not. The Koreans pumping bleach. Nose jobs. Hell, the U.S. funded the doctors to go back over there and do the darn work. Probably took pictures of everyday Americans over there saying, make them look like this. We don't have to do all that. We don't typically do our makeup to look like a totally different nigga. Like, we don't. No. Nah. No thanks. And then they say our skin color is like this because we got whites mixed in our family. Oh, okay. So which is it? Anyway, guys, I love y'all. I've been trying to get off here. I'm actually gonna leave this time. I've been rambling for 2 hours and 39 minutes. If you join the live after this, let me know how you feel about everything we discussed down in the comment section, and try to make the live the next time I go live. Click subscribe, click the notification bell so that you'll know when I pop up. Absolutely pop up, because that's all these have been pop-ups. I may pop back up again tonight and read you guys a bedtime story about Hitler. And I may not. I may save that for tomorrow. We never know. Just turn on your bell notifications, and so that maybe YouTube will send out 2% versus the 1% that they're typically sitting out. And I just got a thumbs down because somebody want me to go out for another 45 minutes, but I'm not doing that. I'm about to get off here. Let me know how you feel in the comment section. Somebody said our skin glows and does. Anyway, I love y'all. I thank you for signing the petition and sending the petition off and to your friends so that they can also read it and sign it. You're not signing your life away. All we're trying to do is be called Americans. We're not trying to make up another name. We're in America. We want to be called Americans. That's it. We don't need nobody making up nothing else for us. We don't want to keep being called African. We're tired. We actually have nice red undertones, nice gold undertones in our skin. We're not the same. I don't have to put orange under my makeup to fake undertones. A lot of them do that. You can go on TikTok and watch them do their makeup. They just say, oh, just no, we're just correcting the color. No, you're adding it. Anyway, I love you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.